Have you ever thought about starting a business and then you got discouraged when you saw the statistics of how many fail? How would you like to see behind the scenes of what happens into a business that actually becomes successful? My name is Andy Albright. I'm President and CEO of National Agents Alliance. I'm also involved in many real estate endeavors, a sports business, venture capital, and a lot of other things. So I like business. And I like to talk to business owners and talk about success, talk about problems, difficulties, things that we overcome in business so that more people witness what we do, they copy, they swipe, they steal, they deploy, they use what we say in their business so they become more successful in America. So this is my friend Barry Lowe, and the way we met is at Gatsby Auto Works. They purchased a Rolls Royce online for my daughter for one of her businesses, just on a whim, put it on a credit card, ordered it, had it shipped in. 1957 Rolls Royce, and it's sat in my basement. Man, I didn't think about it. It's just sitting there, it wasn't gathering rust because it's inside. But one of my staff said to me, he said, "Hey, you ought to remodel that Rolls Royce." And I said, "Hey, that's a good idea. You find somebody that can do it." So I'm thinking we're going to have to ship it off to California or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he says, "We got a guy." I love it when people say this. "I got a guy that's local and he does unbelievable work." And it was Barry Lowe. And so I go over to his place, just a couple miles from here, and I mean, it's Rolls Royce, Bentleys, you name it, kind of beautiful cars, 1930, 1940, 1950, Corvettes, Mustangs, and they're just unbelievable, immaculate. And so we started talking so did you start this business and how did you get successful? But anyway, so this is Barry Lowe. I'll introduce you to him. He's had several successful businesses. And so tell us about your restoration business.
Well, the restoration business has kind of been the opposite of most of my life. Most of my life I spent trying to build businesses and be successful. And I've been somewhat successful doing that, but the restoration business began as just strictly a hobby, something I did to get away from business. And fortunately, it went from just a hobby, a thing I did at night when I wanted to get away, until now it's become a full-time gig with multiple employees, and it's a great hobby to turn into a business.
Do you love it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it so much. If I didn't have my other responsibilities, I may never leave the garage. I'd probably just have pizza brought in every day and just stay there.
I know you've heard this. Find something to love.
Oh, and then you never work a day in your life.
That does the chills on me. It's like a game.
It is. Honestly, I can tell you that in my first business, which is the one I started when I was really young, my contracting business, there were times I hated my life. I mean, going to work every day was like, I used to tell people this, it was like being in a foxhole in World War II, steadily picking up grenades that had just been thrown into your foxhole and trying to throw them out before they'd blow you apart. And I spent multiple years in business fighting that hard. It felt that way to me. It was that tough,
So was your contracting business your first successful business? Mm-hmm. Did you have any failed contracting businesses?
Not contracting businesses, but I've had multiple failed businesses where I've went in with other people trying to build a business they were more of an expert at than I was.
They were more of an expert, maybe not as much of a worker?
Yeah. One thing for me, when I over the years, I guess the word got out that I was interested in people that wanted to be in business, had a specific talent that I could piggyback on and work with. And I would have people come in and say, "I want to start I've been doing this business and I want to have my own business." And I'll ask them, "So what do you want? What are you looking for?" And so many of them will say, "I just want a new pickup truck." And immediately I know this is not the right guy. He was worried. He was more worried about a pickup truck than anything, or having his name on a business card.
Yeah.
And to me, at the end of the day, none of that matters.
So your first successful business was a contracting business. Mm-hmm. So that's what we were talking about. So tell me about that. How did you get, you went from, sounds like it was miserable. Did it eventually get enjoyable?
Oh yeah. Well, the misery, a lot of it came from my own lack of management skills to begin with. You have to learn. I've always done everything the hard way. I dive in where the alligators and fight my way out. But no, when I was in college and high school, I always had a burning desire to do my own thing. I had no idea what I wanted to do. None.
Did you want to make money, or did you want independence? What was your desire? What was your goal?
I would say independence more than the money. I wanted to make money. I still want to make money. But the independence. I can take orders with the best of them, but I was never one that loved taking orders from someone I felt was no more intelligent than I was.
For me, the word was freedom. Does that ring any bells?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It wasn't independence, cool, but freedom, baby. That was my deal, is freedom.
Oh, yeah. Because at the end of the day, you are making your own way, and you're the captain of the ship, and you make the decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. As in my case, I made a lot of bad ones. But it's your choice, your desire, which is, to me, is the ultimate freedom, that you do what you want to do, not what somebody else tells you to do.
Like, with my daughter, talking about buying a Rolls Royce, we'd go on the internet, like we're flying in one of my jets, we're talking about it, we land to get gas, which I didn't pay for the $10,000 a month for the internet connection on my jet. So I always go like, it's 2 hours.
I can live without it.
We touch down, we're looking at the car she wants, and we hit buy. Sight unseen, ship to the rest. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, you could even say I like impressing my kids, you know what I mean? But, and it was a business decision, because I was buying it to impress people in my business, impress people in her business, for pictures. We're going to sell pictures.
Help her grow her business.
Help her grow her business. Yeah. Good decision, bad decision, like you say. As I recall, my wife did not think it was a good decision. My daughter was impressed. She thought it was a great decision. I was kind of indifferent. I just wanted, but that's what I mean by freedom, Yeah. And we were going out to a seminar that I wanted her to participate in. You know what I mean? Just a freedom. Like it was a freedom seminar. It was an independence, how to get free, how to build a thinking seminar.
Yeah.
And just having her sit there with me and listen, I introduced her to some people. Some people are real big on social media, and she met a people, and she was like, "This is him." I said, "That's him." You want to ask him any questions? It's just fun to me to be freedom to let her do that, and a lot of things that I think my daughter and my son have found is that these people that are really successful, like you, normal people.
I think at the end of the day, that's true.
But when you realize they're normal people, you start thinking, or they start thinking, I think they've started thinking, I could do it too.
And that is the reality of it. I know I told you this story when you visited the garage, but I didn't grow up in I grew up in a very good environment, so I'm not trying to put down my childhood years, but I didn't grow up in an environment of rah-rah, you can do it, you can be a great success, you're going to be somebody special. I just never was taught that. And so I never, in my mind, felt like I wanted it, but I wasn't sure if I had it. You know what I'm saying?
What you know if you had the it factor.
Yeah.
Or
And, I got, when I was looking for businesses, I ended up in A.O. Williams. Buy, term, and invest the difference, which is, in a lot of ways, you're not buying, term, and invest the difference, but it's the same kind of situation,
Well, you're selling the dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's what you're selling, the dream, for sure.
A.O. Williams or Prime America is selling the dream.
Yeah. And I bought into it, and I loved it, and I stayed in it about 4 years. Unfortunately, I was a terrible salesman. But what I got from it, I couldn't buy. I got confidence that I could do something. I could make a difference. That's what he said, make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that gave me the gumption to think I could do it. And as I told you earlier, as I talked about going in business and starting my business, my mother, I remember, she was just never very optimistic about stuff like that. It sounds like your wife a little bit.
My mom, my wife, my aunts, my cousins.
But all she kept telling me is, "You can't do that. That's
my
too
mom
hard."
said I was working too hard. She said I was going to ruin my health.
Yeah.
By working hard.
But you enjoy it. It's not work. You probably haven't worked in 20 years, have you?
No. It'd be like telling me that you playing wiffle ball too hard. Or you're focused too hard on that Monopoly game. When I
Yeah.
played Monopoly, I didn't want to stop
Yeah.
and rest. I didn't want to stop to eat.
Exactly.
I was just trying to buy more properties and win the game. So, but I got a lot of that in Amway, and those leaders, same thing. Leaders talking about sell the dream, you can do it, self-talk, the books, the books they're telling you to read, and you start reading these books, and you're like, these people are just ordinary people that stick to something, or ordinary people that work a lot. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like they just like when you, so contractor business. So that's still a successful business for you. That's kind of on autopilot, creates revenue for you. So if somebody was going into contractor business, what's the top 3 tips? Or, I guess any business, but what would be the top 3 tips? We're the Albright Entrepreneur School, NC State. So these kids that are watching, that follow me on the Entrepreneur from NC State, what's some top 3 tips about starting your own business?
One thing I tell people, I have people, some of my employees actually ask me, can you help me find a business, something I can get into that I like to do? And I tell them, first off, you got to have a fire in you. If you don't have a fire in you, I'm not going to say you won't be successful. You could actually fall into something and be successful, but that's a very small minority of those people. You got to have a fire. You got to have a dream. Fire is part of the dream, but you got to have a dream and want more. And then you got to have a determination that you will fight hell with a water gun if you have to.
So fire, want, and then determination.
Yeah. Well, and there has to be some knowledge there. You have to have some ability. You got to be able to write and read, to do most things. So if you're not somewhat educated or have some background in it to where you can work off of that, you're not going very far. But if you've got the education or the background in it, and you've got the fire, and you got the want to, and you got the will.
So I call it obsession. Whatever you're going to go into, if you're going to go into supplement business, you better be obsessed with supplements. Contracting, you better obsess with construction.
You have to live it 24/7.
Yeah.
Just like your motto, and that's one thing I think that runs a lot of people off, is because most people want it, but they don't have the discipline to live it. And you're far enough down the road in your career and been successful enough, and I am too, that I don't have to live it every moment of every day if I don't want to, which I still do mostly, but I don't have to every day. But when you're starting, at least for me, the first 5 years or more, and I won't say the 5 years is a limit because it's probably longer than that, but it takes time to make it happen. To me, I've always told people, starting a business is like trying to push a train. When you first try to push it, you give it all you got and it don't move. And you keep pushing and you keep pushing, and finally it starts barely moving. And as long as you keep pushing it, it'll get a little faster and a little faster. And eventually, when you get to where you are in life and where I am for the most part, that train's going fast enough now, I can just throw my leg out once in a while and just kind of hit the ground, and sometimes I don't even need to do that. It's carrying me on down the track without me doing anything.
I want to touch on this N247, because so many people miss the concept. They think I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's not true.
No.
Okay. But what I do is think about my family's success, my friends' success, your success 24/7. I refuse to accept failure for anybody around me or my business. So I'm on the sideline at a football game at NC State. I'm watching the game, I'm watching the quarterback, and I'm thinking, he would be a good decision maker in business. Or a running back. He would be a good decision maker in business. He would be determined. So, and then the people that I'm meeting on the sideline, I'm enjoying all the coaches and the players and getting to know them, but I'm thinking 24/7. How does this guy fit into my business? How could he fit into my real estate? How could he build in my construction business? How could he fit in my land development? Hey, would this guy be a great salesperson? And if he don't fit in any of my endeavors, then I'm thinking, What advice can I give him in his endeavor? Because I know this, the more successful he is, the better off I am.
True.
That's a weird thought. Because I think a lot of the people that don't have much, they think if one person's successful, it takes away from them. I think most successful people agree that the more people that are successful, the more success there is to go around.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's a weird thought, though.
Yeah, true. And most people that haven't been successful are become very jealous of those that are. But I think to me the reason that is they don't understand how hard it was to get that way. You don't just wake up one day and you're successful.
The first thing I tell people when I see anything that they've done, whether it's D1 athletics, NFL for 3 years, NBA for 4 years, anything like that, contractor, your business, your warehouse, and all your cars is clearly successful, it's like, dude, can't imagine what you went through to get here. Start an immediate appreciation of the obstacles.
Yeah.
You don't know what they overcame, but you know they overcome them. Nobody gets anywhere got on a smooth silver platter. It was always through the jungle, through the briars, through the fight, through the war, through the grenades.
Yeah.
Throwing you.
Absolutely.
You unconsciously know that this person has been through some stuff.
Well, I tell you, to get through that stuff, you have to build a true mental strength. And I think everything is based on that. You got to have that mental fortitude to stick with it and to persevere. Because there's many times I wanted to quit.
So I was telling you, I came in yesterday. We got a church that's exploding, growing, that we rent out a facility here because they didn't have a big enough facility until they build them. They'll build a church. I know this guy. His name is Pastor Biggers, and it's called Grace Chapel. And it's just exploding like crazy. But I came in yesterday to say hello, but to listen to him talk. And he was talking about that very thing, about how hard it is to do the thinking. Mm-hmm. Because thinking does not come from, it sounds crazy, but this is Brian Biggers, I'm going to blame it on him. It comes from something outside, either the good or it comes from the evil. The question is, can you recognize the thought as coming from an evil source, or did it come from a good source? And then his good source being God or Jesus, he says, if it has to do with unity, as it has to do with success, if it has to do with getting along with each other, camaraderie, if it has to do with peace, if it has to do with happiness, it comes from the good side, and you need to feed it. Mm-hmm. If it comes from negativity, division, revenge, anything that's opposite of growth, like we could fail, we could go under. That's a bad thought that you have to fight. Like he said, get redneck about it. And I got that. He says you can't give the evil thoughts residence in your mind. You can't give them free real estate. And what you do is you feed the good stuff. And I think I know people that are successful, they feed other success. Versus a lot of times people that are not successful, they want to see other people fail. So failure would come from the negative side.
Oh, yeah.
So what's weird is like even your enemies, you want them to thrive and survive. You just want them to do it over there. But that's not a negative thought. It's like just go live your life. I'm living my life, but not a negative thought. Because if you go over here planting revenge, or you're planting attacking or jealousy over here, that's a negative. It takes away from the positive. There's no equality. You can't say, well, I'm going to be jealous and positive. No, throw away the jealousy. Just work on the positive. Just pour into the profit. It's kind of crazy right there.
Well, it's a lot of truth to it, because you can't be divided in your house.
Tell me I agree with you, but tell me.
I don't think good and evil one's going to be ruler. One's going to rule you, either good or evil.
The good wolf, the bad wolf.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be in charge.
Yeah. Only one person, I won't say person, one spirit can be in charge.
One spirit, one animal, one hero is going to be in charge. Hey, tell me about your family. So one of the things you told me, the big reason you're into this hobby is because your nephew was so interested in, or something.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, as I told you, when I first started messing with cars, it was more or less just my cars. And my nephew was 15, and he came to me and said, "Hey, can I come up and help you work on the cars?" And of course, it's always good to have another hand there. So he started helping me at 15. His mom and dad dropped him off at the garage, and I would take him back home, or they'd come pick him up. And he started working every week with me. Mostly, he was homeschooled, so he would come 3 or 4 days a week and work half a day, whatever he was doing. So he was working a lot. And I had another guy working with me at that point too that was part-time, and he was the one doing all my painting, and he ended up leaving. And my nephew said, "Well, I'd like to try to paint," Well, I didn't want to paint, and so I let him paint. And he spent probably 3 years on my dime painting my cars and messing them up and repainting them. But he's learned to paint, and he's really he's a special young guy. He truly is. He's just turned 21, and he's I wouldn't be doing this as a business if he wasn't what he is, because as you know, you go through a lot of people to find a person that has the savvy and the ability and the understanding to handle the business end of it and to look after it and run it like it's supposed to. And he's got that, and I told him, I said, the only reason I'll do this is because I know you can, I don't want to be here managing and looking after all this and babysitting, you don't need that. You're able to do it yourself.
So he's got the obsession.
Oh yeah, he's
obsessed with fixing cars.
Oh yeah.
What model they are? How do you fix the carburetor? How do you?
Yeah, he loves it all. He loves it all. In fact, we're doing. We just got approved to do the Peking to Paris race in 2025.
Oh, sweet.
And I actually told him, I said, you cannot get married before that race, because I'm not going to hear your girlfriend or wife say you can't go.
How long of a race is it?
It's 9,000 miles, 36 days.
36 days of a race.
Yeah, and it's averages 270 to 390 miles a day. And we plan on doing it in a 34 Rolls Royce.
In a 34 Rolls Royce. Yeah. I guess some questions about that. Back to him. So he's got the obsession. He loves the cars. He loves the paint. He loves the engines. Just everything. Research, hands-on, hands getting banged, greasy.
He's not a pointer. He jumps right in the middle. I'll tell you one of the things that really impressed me most about him to start with. I would give him things to do if I couldn't be there. And, some days I would come to the garage and he had finished what he was doing and didn't have anything else to do. If I came in and he had nothing else to do, the whole garage would be clean and swept up. The tools would be put up. They'd all be neat and orderly and in place. And you can't teach somebody. Well, you can teach somebody that, but when
you shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
teach
true.
that.
But when you have somebody that you don't teach that and they do it naturally, you got somebody different.
And then so the match said he's got the business acumen too. Learns the accounting.
Yeah. Well, he's not
profits.
into that much yet. I mean, he understands it because he helps me do billing, but he's still got a ways to go on that. But,
so you're still working with him on that.
Oh yeah.
The plan is the balance, the creativity.
Yeah.
The restoration along with the business side.
Yeah. The long-term plan for me is he will eventually. I'll just probably give him all the business at one point. At some point, if things continue as they're going now. To me, it's a hobby. I wanted to stay that way, but it's a good business too. I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't like to have a car at Pebble Beach. We had a car last year to Amelia Island, and it looks like we're going to have another one at Amelia Island this year. So, I 2 or 3 years ago I would have never dreamed of that. So I mean, it's come a long ways pretty quick.
So a new car, what does that? I'm thinking that means you're sponsoring a car.
Well, our car that we restored is good enough that they accepted to be in their concourse. And Amelia Island, and a lot of people's eyes is the number 2 car show in the country. And I'm sure a lot of people.
So one of your cars is in the Amelia Island show.
Yeah, we were there in March for the first one. And we've got another one that I think we're going to have this year. He hadn't told me 100% yet, but he thinks he's going to get in.
What do you have to go through, some kind of a qualification
Yeah, you
process?
have to send in pictures of the car, a statement about the car, and history of the car, and that sort of thing. And I don't know tell you how they really pick it, but I guess they either like it or doesn't like it.
So I was tying in the Peking to Paris, which is a race.
Yeah.
But now this is this is a show.
Yeah, it's a good place to meet clients.
It's a bragging point. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's got to be a great hotbed for meeting clients.
Oh yeah.
Who restored this car for you? Oh, he restored this car.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I love saying that. I'll tell you. Last year, the first time we went, me and my nephew both, Michael, we were both kind of a bit nervous because I've never even been to one. But we were just excited to get there and see our car beside all these other cars. And, you know, after about an hour or two, I looked at him, I said, our stuff looks as good as anybody's here. He said, I know it. And so it was exciting.
Confidence.
Yeah,
confidence building.
to realize that, you know, we can compete. We're not the best here, but we definitely matched up nicely. So we're pretty excited about it.
That's cool. So, you know, my kids are in the business.
Oh, yeah.
So my daughter is in the real estate and land development, and we're in the process of building some townhomes and that concept. But I just love chatting with her about the business aspect. I mean, I could talk to her about the weather and be happy as our daughter.
So. Yeah.
But thinking that I've had something to do with her future.
Yeah.
Like one day, 20 years from now, she'll be like, Daddy said, you know, Daddy told me about this, or Daddy warned me about this. This is a no-go, or this is a moneymaker. You know, based on the the outline that I'm providing.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And then her husband, and then he's smart as everything. You know, I'm proud of him. Like you're saying about your nephew, he's into it. And then the son, we're expecting our first grandbaby real soon, and his wife is very sharp. They're helping build a business. Or it's really their business, kind of like a nephew. It's his business.
Yeah.
He might be part of yours business, but he treats it like it's his business now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool. So I'm getting them. I'm pushing them to be smarter, read books, listen to audios of successful people, because I just see them picking up tips and tidbits of just because it's like me and you said. It's one straw. It's one piece of paper. It's one addition to your business. Whether it's writing a book, whether it's social media, whether it's signage, whether it's a logo that you're promoting. Mm-hmm. Nothing matters, but everything matters.
Yes, and it's like you said about the straw. It's, you know, one a little bit of straw is not going to do anything, but you do 100 different things and do it every day, then you eventually you've got a presence, and that's what you're after, is a presence in business, and where people know you and relate to you and want to give you business, and see that you're successful and do a good job.
Yeah, I had a buddy. He said, I recommended you invest some money with this guy. And I bet you, I don't know, I own a piece of 75 different companies. I mean, anywhere from 50,000 to 350,000. I own equity in it. And I was telling a buddy, I said, you need to go talk to this guy because I think it's a great place to invest in. And he comes back and he says, you know, his house is built like in a lake. Like lake comes right up to the house. I was like, yeah. You know, he's got like an indoor swimming pool. I was like, yeah. He said, do you think he's making money off of us investing money with him? I said, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's making money coming and going. This guy prints money. I'm not going to take $100,000 and give it to a guy who's unsuccessful and expect him to pick a profitable business for me and have me make a great return. I want a guy that's making money left and right, investing my money.
Exactly.
I want a successful. I don't want it. If you said, "Hey, we ain't never refinished or restored a car, but we're gonna give it a hell of a shot," I'd be like, "Not mine." You know, but for you, it's got to be that first customer. It's tough.
Oh yeah.
But then the second customer, third customer, it just starts piling on. But I just thought it was funny that he was like, he didn't want the guy to be more successful.
And see, I don't understand that.
Me neither. I was scratching my head.
I mean, if I'm on his coattail, I hope he keeps on going.
Yeah, I hope he makes money on my deal. And again, it's that part of that success breeds success breeds success. Okay, you said childhood, so I'm curious about that. Did you grow up around here? Did you grow up on a farm? Did you do any hard work, labor?
I wouldn't say we had a farm, but my father ruined me for gardening. I spent all summer, every year in the garden as a kid.
Family garden?
Yeah, family garden, yeah. When I was 16, I started working in tobacco, and I worked with another neighbor. Worked with him 10 hours a day, and a half a day on Saturday, and he paid me $50 a week. Mm. And that wasn't that many years ago, so it's not like it was 1920.
Yeah. Were you out in the field at all?
Oh yeah, priming? Oh yeah. I would go out and prime, and I did. My body didn't like it too much because I'd go out and prime, and spray tobacco all day, then go home and I'd be sick for 2 or 3 hours. I don't know if it's heat sickness or just from the spray, but it was tough.
So we did that. I grew up priming tobacco.
Did you?
And you talk about family wouldn't say, no, we didn't have no farm. Somebody else had the farm. But my daddy would make me go work. Not for the money, just, it was his friend of his said, you going to go work for the Bashams.
Yeah.
You know, the Bashams down there, they had hundreds and hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
And then the Rosses, Dan and Claudette Ross, if you ever heard of them, they're a big farm. My dad make me go to work out there. I'd be like, God, they're not paying that much. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about the money. They need the help, and they need
and
your
you need
help.
experience.
Yeah. But it taught me when people say what I do is hard, and I mean, what do you mean? Like it's not. Have you ever picked up tobacco in both arms and walked down and all the plants are soaking wet?
Yeah, and about 7 o'clock in the morning, did you ever work?
And if 7 o'clock in the morning you're freezing, soaking wet, and by 1 o'clock you're about to die of heat stroke, and you take all your clothes off. It's like you go from freezing to hot, and I don't even know how to describe the misery or whatever you want to call it. I mean,
I never loved it. It was not my favorite.
But now to compare the hard work that we do to that hard work.
Well, I'll tell you, I've told people this a long time. You always sacrifice in life. You either sacrifice by struggling and going to college or learning a business and developing a business, and then you become successful, or you never do that and you sacrifice the quality of your life the rest of your life because you never did anything above and beyond ordinary.
What was that?
You sacrifice
the pain of sacrifice, or the pain of regret.
Yeah, basically, that's probably a better way to say it.
You regret that you didn't do the pain in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which you want? You want the pain of sacrifice? You want the pain of working, or the pain of regret? The pain of living?
I tell you that hindsight, I never liked the regret on that. That's not fun.
Don't you wish though you could? And I guess it sounds like you're doing it with your nephew, but you just want to take that mindset and just give it to some young people. Just wear this thought of
anything. I think anything you can do as a successful person to help teach someone else success, or give them help start that, fuel that light inside them to do it is a key ingredient. I mean, when I see people nowadays young people that I think have a certain quality, I make it a point to tell them. Because nobody ever told me when I was 17 years old, nobody was beating me down, but nobody ever came and said, "Hey, you're got this going on for you. You know, you can be."
You got the it factor.
Yeah, never heard that.
You got the drive.
Yeah.
I want to share this. My mom and dad are great people. My dad was a postman. We'd ride down Burlington. He'd be like, "I put that roof on." So he's a roofer. I put that roof on, or I built part of this house. And my mom worked over at Western Electric. She was a secretary. So she's a postal worker secretary. Yeah. But the one thing Mom would say to me is like, the one thing about Andy is when he says he's going to do something, he loses his mind trying to get that one thing he said. So the older I got to thinking, why would I state that I'm going to get this little thing? Why don't I state that I'm going to get this big thing?
Raise the bar.
I raised the bar on myself because she said, whatever he says he's going to do, he busts his butt to do it. And so I got thinking, I was like, well, if that's true, then why don't I start saying, I'm going to do this? Why don't I start saying, I'm going to do that? So I came up with some things that I never dreamed of, and I said, I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And then I found myself kind of making sure that her words rang true. Because Mama said.
That's right. You can't make Mama wrong.
You can't make Mama wrong. So that was one of the things that she did for me is saying that. So what you're doing for kids, saying the same thing. And I love to do that at the entrepreneur school at NC State, is just tell kids, like, you get the it factor. You got this, man. You can do this. Anybody can do this. And this may be good or not, but I go like, I have multiple homes, or I've got a jet, and you talk to me a few minutes. You should be encouraged.
No,
You're smarter than me. You're more disciplined than me. There's so many things you've got that beat me. There's no reason that you can't
be here today.
I can't think of a reason why not, other than lack of trying, lack of taking a shot, lack of setting goals. But other than that, it's just like, dadgum, go for it. And so they try to ask me technical questions about, because I'm an engineer. And I go, whoa, that's not my expertise is mentality. My expertise is setting goals. My expertise is not quitting. You know what I mean? I'm not your chemist.
Well, it's just like Churchill said, never, never, never quit. That's, if you're going to be successful, is what you have to do. You're not a failure until you quit.
I love it. Let's talk about the intelligence factor. Like, how smart do you think a person has to be in business? Or what's your comments on intelligence?
Well, I've told people before, growing up, I never felt like I was very intelligent to start with, but I think you have to be dumb enough to believe you can do it. I had people tell me when I first wanted to go in business, you can't do it, you'll fail, you can't succeed. And fortunately, I was too stupid to believe them. I thought I could do it.
You said earlier about fire, so ignorance on fire.
Yeah, that was good, yes.
Opposite of intelligence on ice.
Exactly.
A person who's too intelligent to proceed.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you can outthink yourself. And
it's too smart. You know all the possible failures versus an ignorant person or an unaware person don't even know how bad it can be.
Yeah, or I won't even say they're unaware. They're just so focused on that end goal that nothing else matters.
So the fire's burning so bright they can't see the negative.
Yeah. When the headlights shine in your eyes, you can't see the darkness.
They can't see the evil spirits or the evil problems. They just see the future.
Yeah.
I think that's what we got to do. Let's me and you agree that going forward, we're going to try to shed the light for more people. Shine the light in their eyes so they don't worry about the negative. Shine the light down the path for them so that they see a way. And hopefully this information we're giving here inspires some young whippersnapper kid that's fired up out of their mind, and everybody else around them is naysayers. You're working too hard. Your dreams are too big. You need to How about this one? You need to diversify. You need to do this job and that job. You don't need to focus on construction, or you don't need to focus on your sales force. You need to divert. And I'm like, what? I want to do this. So we're going to try to point people in the right direction.
Absolutely. That's the key. Is finding what fits and what makes you happy.
I got one thing for you. I read this book on success, and it's called, the man was talking about a success coin. Have I showed you this? Okay. So he said there's two keys, or there's two sides to the coin of success. On one side is, what do you want? Mm-hmm. Most people never, ever decide what they want. The other side of success is, how do you get it? So if you know what you want, which is bizarre, most people have no clue what they want, then what you start doing is simple, clear goals. Mine was freedom. Like, that was it. I wanted enough money that I could travel. I wanted freedom. I didn't want nobody to be able to fire me on one word. Don't get me wrong, I got 50 bosses. You do too.
Yeah.
Every client's a boss. But if one client fires you, you got 99 more clients.
Exactly.
So I didn't want to be able to get fired easy. I wanted to have freedom to say stuff, talk junk, have a good time. What do I want? So you write down, what do you want? How many houses you want to build? How many communities you want to build? Or how many cars do you want to remodel? Or how many shows do you want to get approved for? What do you want? Think about that. And then think, all right, how do I get it? And then of all the ways to get it, because you're going to think of 300 different ways to get it, work on the most valuable task. So if there's 300 things you could do to grow your business, what's the most important thing you can do right now? So, like, for whatever reason, thank you for choosing this podcast as something to do on your list. Yeah. You picked it. So after this is over, you got to decide what to do next of all your options. So this is my success coin. And of course, mine is circled around the alliance and integrity and everything about my company. But the coin works for anybody. I keep it in my pocket. Am I working on something? Am I trying to do something that gets me what I want? Because if I'm working on something that ain't getting me what I want, why am I trying to do it?
You're losing your focus.
Right, yeah. So there's your success coin.
Oh, thank
Hopefully
you.
you can share that with your nephew and pass on. What do I want? Think about it. What do I want? How do I get it? If you could think about that, so many kids are working on things they don't want.
Yeah.
They're getting really good at what?
Video games.
Fantasy football.
Yeah.
Like I got no problem with it. But if you get really good at it, how long did that take? Or you want to get caught up in all the episodes of the Swensons or the Hensons or whatever you call them,
Yeah.
the Marketplace or what these shows, and I'm going like you've memorized all these characters that are not, I'm no against it, but how does that fit in?
How does that benefit your life?
Sounds a little selfish to me,
Yeah.
but then again, how does that benefit your life?
Mm-hmm.
Or let me ask you this: what do you get? What do you get? You know what I mean? Like they're not thinking what it says. How do we, anyway? You get the idea. So I like that one. What do you? If I can get kids thinking, what do you want? And how do you get it? Now you take your eyes off all the stupid stuff in your life.
Focus is a major word that should never be lost by an entrepreneur that's trying to succeed. Because if you lose your focus or don't have a focus, you're never going to hit a goal. And that's kind of what you're saying to me to some degree, because people spend their time watching.
I think it's
sitcoms, and
I think it's right on.
Yeah, I mean, and it's okay to watch sitcoms once in a while if you want to, but you got to have your focus.
Let me say something. Everything I criticize people on is me. The shows, the football, the games, the betting, everything is me. I think because people go like, you talking bad about it, bro. I was talking about my habits. I don't even know you. I don't know your stupid habits. I know my stupid habits.
But you're able to put your habits aside enough to stay focused on what was important.
Apparently I do it enough because I'm paying the bills.
I think you're doing pretty well.
Barry, thank you very much. Barry Lowe, thank you for this podcast, your valuable time. You can learn more about Barry at GatsbyAutoworks.com, and it's WORX when you look it up. It help you find it, Gatsby, WORX. And if you got a car that'd be restored, if you want to buy a restored car, anything like that, and it's a construction company, so it's easy to look up. It's BARRYLOWE. And thank you for your time, your expertise, your comments. I hope somebody uses it. My name is Andy Albright. You can follow me on my social media at Andy S. Albright. If you have learned something today, please hit the follow button and follow us for future podcasts. I'm in 24/7. Are you?